I'm not talking about having to live your life pleasing all the legalists. You know what the legalists do? If a guy's got long hair and ponytail, he can't be a Christian, so you can't do that. And if he's got a beard or a mustache, he's not well shaven, so he can't do that. Or if a woman's dress is not all the way down to her ankles, well, you can't do that. I mean, after a while, if you look at all the rules and regulations that legalists have, you realize you can't even wake up in the morning and get out of bed. And so if you stay in the bed, you're even going to make some more legalists mad. You can't win with a legalist. You can't. They're puffed up with knowledge and they have no heart. You can't please them. But what we have to do is marry the knowledge with the heart. Deny ourselves and look toward somebody else. I want you to see the truth in verse 12. But when you thus sin against the brethren, go ahead and use your liberty and wound their weak conscience. You've sinned against your brother. But he says you sin against Christ. You might as well look upon Jesus on that cross at Calvary with the blood dripping down and spattering around the ground and spit in His face. What you've done to that brother, Jesus took personally. Just because you used your freedom and your knowledge as a liberty without the consideration of others. The truth is you sin against Christ and He takes it personally. I want to tell you a true story. In July, in the year 2005, quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Ben, I never have been able to pronounce his name right, Roethlisberger. Some of you football fans remember him. He was asked by an ESPN reporter to explain his decision about riding a motorcycle without a helmet. And this was his reply. He says, I don't wear a helmet because I don't have to. It's not the law. I'm free to wear it. If it was the law, I'd definitely have one every time I rode, but it's not the law, so I'm free to go ahead and do that. 1 year later, he was involved in a very serious motorcycle accident. The bike was totaled. The emergency surgeon spent over 7 hours repairing a broken jaw, a fractured skull, missing teeth, and a lot of other facial injuries. After being released from the hospital, the first thing he did was apologize to his fans, to his family, and to his team for risking his health and his life unnecessarily. And you say, well, that was his choice. He could do that. He's free to do that. Not long after, there was another interview. And in this interview, you could tell he was no longer focused on taking advantage of the freedom to ride without a helmet. You say, well, he learned the hard way. Listen to what he says. This is a quote. In the past few days, I've gained a new perspective on life. Duh. Watch this. By the grace of God, I'm fortunate to be alive. And then he said, if I ever ride a motorcycle again, it'll certainly be with a helmet. This guy's a Christian. And he had the freedom to ride the motorcycle without a helmet. But he endangered his life. And I want you to see this. He potentially endangered the lives of thousands of others. And some of you are saying, how? It's his skull. If he wants to smash it on the freeway, that's on him. He was the youngest quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl at that time. Now, if his message was to all the young guys, you don't need to wear a helmet. If he was your hero and you say, well, he doesn't, why should I? I'm sure that there were a lot of people who watched that interview when he says the law doesn't prohibit it, so I'm going to go ahead and do it, that they decided themselves that they weren't going to wear the helmet. They were free not to wear the helmet. But did not his testimony encourage them to go down that road and potentially end their lives?